What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Scriptly Adapted Uncut. We are back at home, LMC TV Studios. I'm Kayode.
I'm Kate.
So, guys, as you can see, we have a third person here with us tonight.
Our third wheel is here.
Third wheel is here tonight.
Third wheel.
We love you. We are doing our first Artist Roundtable, right? Artist Roundtable, awesome. Where we invite local artists doing their thing, trying to do their thing, out here hustling, trying to make a name for themselves, creating their own paths in the arts. And tonight we have a very special guest, Samantha Jane Williams, joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really nice to be here. I'm so excited. Yeah, this is my first time here.
Yeah, took a little tour and everything.
Oh, get out of here. This is your first time. Man. Okay, so welcome. So tonight, it's about you, Sam. It's about you. It's all about
time. About time. It needs to be about me.
Listen.
I understand. I'm right there with you.
And we all go way back. You know, we went to WCC together. We sat next to each other when we graduated. We worked. Man, that was long overdue. We got out of there. Yeah. And we just wanted to have a conversation with you about what's up.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Simple. Why'd you get into acting? Right? Why acting?
I got into acting because, like, it's gonna sound super cliche and like, I wanted to be someone else. Like, you know what I mean? But it was just, I found that it was just another way for me to express myself. And there are just so many stories that just need to be told. And it's an amazing art. It's amazing art, and it's just an amazing tool to communicate with people, you know what I mean? And you can communicate with people who are not even in the same room with you, you know, all around the world, you know, careers that are on the bigger scale or smaller scale, but art is just so amazing that it just needs to be shared.
Absolutely.
It needs to be shared.
I agree.
Now, was there something in particular that got you into it? Like, was there something that you woke up one day and you was like, I want to do that?
Well, it started in high school. I mean, in high school, I was an athletic person. I played volleyball, I played softball, and it always kind of coincided with theater, you know? So I was like, no, I'm not doing the play, or like, I'm not interested. It's softball season, you know? Like, you know what I mean? I gotta go to batting practice. But I have two brothers. I have brothers who are also into acting, and they were out in LA and they were doing it. And it kind of was one of those things where I was like, I want to do it too. But this may shock you, but I was a little shy back then.
What? Wait a second.
I feel like most actors do say that, though.
That's a first. I've never heard
I feel like
say
most actors do say that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no, this is not really me.
Yeah, like and no, I'm not even like trying to make a joke. Like, I wasn't as outgoing as, you know,
even with sports.
Yeah, I was not like as outgoing. Like, you know, I was in presence, like I was there, but I was really kind of inside my shell. Like, I think because one of my biggest fears, like growing up, me and my siblings are kind of several years apart. We kind of stagger, and it wasn't like, you know, my sister was in 7th grade and I was in 6th grade, and I was like, I do not want to be picked on. Like, I moved to a new town the summer after coming out of 6th grade, so I had no friends. I wore a nylon pink jacket all summer. It was like 90 degrees outside. I was riding a Huffy.
It was the 90s.
You know what I'm saying? I had my Huffy,
90s.
baby. You know,
it was cool back then.
It was cool. It was the thing. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And I was just like, I don't want to be picked on. I know I'm different. I'm a girl of a different size. Like, I just did not want to. There's no one to protect me.
Right.
So, you know, I made my friends, and then, I don't know, something happened in 11th grade, and it's not that I was like mute and I didn't talk, but something happened in 11th grade, and it just kind of, I put myself out there a little more. And then I think it was also clubs and things that I became involved in school. Next thing I turned around and I was student council president, and then I had to like kind of host all the events or help, you know, do this and do that. And, you know, you would do, what do you call, like kind of school spirit and, you know, do dances and things like that in front of the whole school. And 11th grade, and there's this massive picture in the yearbook. I dressed up as like Michael Jackson and like did this opening dance in front of the entire school.
Gave me
Please tell me you have that somewhere.
Of course I have the picture.
God.
I will send it to you.
Please.
I will send you
We'll do an update. Yeah, we'll do an update of this show like in 2 weeks.
I'm telling you,
like,
there is a picture of me in the yearbook. It like actually got like a quarter page, and I remember as I was walking to a spot in the middle, and it's in front of the entire school. I was like, I'm going to poop myself. Like, what is happening? And I was like, but you know what? I'm gonna do it. Yeah. I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna see what happens. And when I tell you, everyone knew my name. No. But it was a wonderful kind of coming out moment. It was a wonderful kind of the feeling you get when you're entertaining someone and the happiness that you're giving them, and then they're giving that back to you. And I was like, I like this. Nice. So what I did was, you got to kind of be realistic, and I'm sure we'll get into this later about, sometimes dreams don't always happen. Sure. So I think you kind of have to have a little fallback. So I did know that going into school, I wanted to study acting, but needed something underneath that as well. So I've studied other things underneath that, just in case, God forbid, something does not pan out the way that I want it to pan out. So it was a combination of like my brothers were doing it, I kind of want to do it, but what is it about? I did The Wizard of Oz, I think in the 11th grade. Okay. And I was like, please put me in the back. I was a munchkin and a poppy, and I was a flower, and I was like, bye, like that's all I need. And I loved it. And then I took it was either acting 1 or like intro to acting at like the WCC Center in Peekskill, and I was like, it's a done deal. It's done. Yeah. It's done. This is where it is.
So speaking of schooling, what have you learned as an actor, takeaways from learning with other actors,
like anything you might have picked up on?
Yeah, like things that you maybe have to improve on with yourself, or even things that you've lent to them,
That's a good question. I mean, things that I have to improve, I think there's always room for improvement. Right. For anyone who thinks that like, okay, I'm gonna go to, whether it's college or if it's like a conservatory, or you're going to Stella or HB, or you're like, it's never, all right, I'm gonna take 4 years of classes and then I'm done. As an actor, if you're seriously into it and want to develop yourself as an artist, you are never finished. You are never done. Every day you're discovering something new. Every day you're discovering more of yourself. Right. You know what I mean? Because so much of it is that, yes, you're playing a character, but you've also got to think about your life experiences and what you kind of bring to that character. So one of the things that I learned quickly was that you're never done. You're always in a class, or always working on your craft. I think, because I went to several colleges, not learning things obviously on the way, not necessarily that they were technique, but it's just like kind of how this industry works. How does it work? I mean, some people, you hear stories of like, oh, I was in the mall and I was buying my grandma a gift and someone came up to me and they said, you should be a model. And then the next day I was a model. And it was like, I'm still waiting for Wilhelmina to call me. Like, that has not happened to me. Wilhelmina.
Yeah, listen.
Side profile.
Who knows? They could be one.
I mean, look at her.
You don't know. I know my poses. I watch Runway. I've walked around the food court and no one has hired me yet. You know what I mean?
Strutting
exactly, doing the walk, doing the stomp.
That's
and
hilarious.
And one of the things about this, it doesn't happen that way for everyone. Right. Some people, they're just in the right place at the right time, and the right person saw them and thought, hey, there's something there, and it happened. And some of us have to hit the pavement and grind hard, and grind really hard.
Nope.
So
sometimes it's even more satisfying when you eventually get to where you want to be when you grinded that hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. And I think those are the careers that last the longest, right? Because I think you've put so much into it, you appreciate it more, you know where you want to go, who you are as a person, versus jumping into kind of like trying to get an opportunity where I'm not knocking reality TV, but I kind of am, a little. And some people have gone in a direction that I'm a little surprised about. I'm like, oh, okay. There's one, I don't know her name, I don't remember her name, but she was like on one of those like MTV challenges kind of thing. And excuse me, and I've seen her in a couple movies. And I'm like, okay, someone at least got you a coach. Right. Or you can, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm not mad about it.
But now again, though, nowadays, because
annoying,
anybody can act. Kayode says that all the time. Like, oh, well, you're in a movie, okay. I mean, like Megan Fox.
It is not.
Anyone can be Megan Fox. Maybe not physically,
it is
but whatever.
not like it was 25 years ago, right?
There's no craft, unfortunately, anymore.
There are so many outlets now that allow people who think they have the skill and the talent and the education to do it, and it's really not that good. But the outlets is what's allowing them to be able to do this.
Well, here's the thing, and then just going back to schooling, you know, I bounced around a little bit. You know, I started at Southern Connecticut State University, and then even then I was a communications major because I was like, nobody's gonna want to see me on TV. I was like, so I'm gonna do radio. I was like, maybe I can do radio. So I started at communications, and then I was also a music major or minor. I didn't last long at that school for financial reasons, and I was just like, I'm kind of close but far away from home, and I can do this back in New York. Let's go back to New York. You know, ended up at WCC. We graduated, and then I was like, I don't need a degree to be an actor. I just need to go take some classes and hit the pavement, get some headshots, get an agent, and I'm good. You know what I mean? And it's just so much. Acting and theater is just so much more than that. Right. So 10 years went by, and I'm in a class with a casting director who we get to read and one-on-one with, and they give you feedback and you talk a little bit. And I just asked, I was like, if my headshot comes across your table and another girl, but she went to Juilliard, just went to any school and got her degree, and you see mine, are you going to give her your last appointment? And they were like, yeah, because we see that, not, let's say Juilliard, but like they went to school, they finished the training. I know kind of where they're at. You may be better for the role. You may be a much better actor, but I'm not going to know that, So I said, okay. And I went home and I started doing my research on schools for acting or for going back for theater.
I agree with that, and then I don't agree with that. I see both sides. I think, as you said, I think it's very important to keep honing your craft and keep learning all the time. I know for me personally, in terms of arts with photography, I didn't study it. I learned from my dad a lot of it. My dad went to school for it a little while, but I believe also too, especially when it comes to the arts, there's also an innate talent and an innate skill, and some people have it and some people don't. I personally believe, and I'm not just saying this because you're my friend, but I personally believe that you're extremely talented. You have it. However, I do also, on the flip side, agree that you want to hone it, and you want to find a niche, and you want to find a focus. And I think that's why schooling is important. I don't think it's to determine whether you're an actor or not. I think it's to determine maybe what it is that you're going to be doing.
Agreed.
So in that sense, I understand it.
Interesting point.
Yeah, so what, you didn't go to Juilliard, are you still more talented?
So that kind of leads me into my next thing with you, Sam, disappointments and achievements.
Yeah.
Give me something.
A lot. Let's see. Well, and me going back to school is that I wanted to get my degree. I wanted to finish. I don't like to start things and then just kind of, you know what I mean? And then just also, within honing the craft. I specifically went to SUNY New Paltz because I loved their program and what they were offering. Right. I think originally I wanted to be in a BFA program, and not gonna lie, didn't know the difference between a BFA and BA until I got there. But some people want to be singing and dancing and acting all day long, and that's cool. But what I loved about the education I got at SUNY New Paltz was because it was very well-rounded. It was like, okay, you're a performer, but you need to get some experience on how to move set pieces or how they're built or how does stage management work. Because also when you're hoofing the pavement and you're going to auditions, you don't always have to be a server and a bartender and all these jobs that have nothing to do with your craft. You can be engulfed in the theater world or acting world. It might not be performing, but maybe during the day you're working with costumes because you have a genuine interest in costumes. Right. So, and theater jobs, depending on what you do, you can, and it's all about relationships. You guys know everything is all about the relationships that you build with people. You could, let's say you get a gig doing costume management maybe it lasts for 6 months, but that's gonna put money in your pocket. Right. So that may afford you the opportunity of taking the next 3 months off, and all you are doing is class and going to auditions and things like that. You don't have to be stuck in a 9-to-5 working with, making calls all day, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't like this, and now you're unhappy all day. You know what I mean? Right. So it gave me no matter what I do, I have some experience in other areas of acting and theater.
It also keeps you humble.
It does keep you, it does keep you humble. Yeah. And sometimes you never know how that opportunity is going to come about. You could be working with stage management, but the director's like, wow, we have to replace so and so. Where are we gonna? are you an actor? Like, you know what I mean? You just never know how that door is going to open.
Right. And you might find out something new that you love.
Exactly. Or you may find out that, you know what, performing is not for me. That's not what I found out, because I still love performing. Yeah. But, you know, like within my last year, my last 2 semesters, I discovered I have a love for designing costumes. And
you said that.
And I didn't know that. And I didn't know that until I took...
And that's what the education gives you.
Yeah. And I took a costume design class, and I was just like, you know what I mean? And you just never know how that's going to pan out.
Right.
You know?
And how about your biggest achievement?
My biggest achievement, I think my biggest achievement is putting myself through college. I mean, nowadays it's like, my gosh, it's like so expensive.
Right.
And if I knew what I knew now back then, I'm sure I could have figured out a way to have no student debt right now. Like I would, you know, I'm in ducking and like, you know what I mean? I would have figured it out. But I think there is a miscommunication in our education system where, you know, people get to 12th grade or whatever, and they think they have to go to college.
Right.
Because if I were to do things all over again,
I agree.
Excuse me, I would have at least taken a year off.
Yep.
I would have traveled.
I agree. Amen to that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Taken a year off,
Yep.
and I would have went straight to WCC. Straight away went to WCC.
I would have done the same thing. I think about that all the time. And I just wanted to get out of the house.
And I kick myself. And I'm just like, why did I take out that loan and go 2 hours away from my house? Because I thought I had to.
Right.
I wanted to be like my friends.
Right.
I thought I had to. Now I have debt like my friends. So, you know what I mean?
You like your friends now.
You know what I mean? Now we all got debt. You know?
But that's true because, you know, especially with our generation, I feel like looking at our parents have always wanted more for us. They wanted the best for us, you know. But it was kind of like, for me, it was kind of like you go to school, you get good grades, you go to college, you get a full-time job, you get benefits, blah, blah, blah. And there's nothing wrong with that because you want to be financially stable. You want to have some consistency and stability in your life. But there's also ambition there. You know, it's like you want to have stability doing things that you're passionate about, which when you're conditioned to do something else, it's kind of hard not to find it. So I totally agree with you. I say to Kayode all the time, I'm like, I should have gone to WCC for 2 years, gotten my associates, and then gone on to purchase.
WCC was great.
Know?
And I love WCC.
Yeah,
it's a great school.
It is a great
great for that,
school.
especially for me, getting into the arts and acting, and it did the same thing for me because I was a shy person. But as soon as I got on stage, I was different. It was a whole different ball game. And I definitely appreciate it. But I do also, I feel like I should have done the 1 year, just a chill. But I did go straight into WCC, which definitely helped. It was, I learned a lot. Yeah. You know?
So what are some upcoming projects that you're working on individually?
Any visions that you don't want to give them all away.
Don't give all the information at one time.
But some surface stuff that could possibly be
some spoilers.
Be brewing a little bit.
Okay. So just graduated in May, which was so sad, bittersweet. Yeah. Graduated in May. I did a short film in July, so hopefully we'll get to see that soon, called American Quartet, which is solely just put to music, which I'm very excited, about, to see. And then I've just been cast in a play, which will be at the Denison Theater in New Paltz. Nice. So I'm going back up to New Paltz.
Gonna be fun,
you know,
for rehearsal.
Yeah. And
that's true. Yeah.
It's called Sender, and it's going to be directed by Martine Green Rogers, who is brilliant. So I am so excited to work with her. I love her. She's amazing. So I'm very excited to work on that. And then I think for right now, that's what we've got on the plate.
And our film too.
Absolutely. So we're going to be working on that together. So I'm really excited.
Sweet, man. We got to keep doing. You got to keep.
Because that's how people become successful, and people don't realize it's also about collaboration. You know, it's not. Yeah. I feel like acting and just the arts in general is such a community thing. It's not like people think that being an actor is very solitary, and I'm sure it has its solitary moments, right, where you have to get into the position and the role. But nowadays, especially with all this streaming and all this original production, you want to have collaboration and work with people because that's how you have different ideas.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it's really all about, again, the relationships that you build, and it's just like the people that you meet. I always think that if someone has like their business card, you should just take it.
Yeah.
Take it. You never know when you need it. You never know. And people are willing to transform themselves or do things. Like, you know, I'm in a position in my life that I'm willing to do things for free. Like, you know what I mean? You need a production assistant, you need this, you need that. I'm willing to intern for free. Right now I'm over at Good For You Production. Productions, which is over in Peekskill, and I'm loving them right now. They're really awesome. We're working on some projects together, you know, doing whether it's sketches or commercials, or I helped run a casting the other day.
Nice.
And that, again, that's just part of like, not, I don't want to say secondary passion, but it's just like, you can't split yourself.
That's okay.
Into
a secondary passion is fine.
I mean, you can't split yourself into nine you can do everything. You can do anything. You know what I mean? So, so I'm really looking forward to getting that ball rolling and really working on some stuff. So that was really awesome.
Nice, man.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
You've plugged the crap out of Studio New Paltz, man.
Yeah,
you
you
might get some
have.
people watching like, I need to go, and there should be something flashing like Studio New Paltz.
Paltz gets all the credit.
Go
No.
to Studio New Paltz.
Yeah.
Crazy. Very nice.
They see enrollment go up. We know why.
Listen,
We
they
know
watch
why.
Strictly Adapted Uncut.
Yeah.
It's not the Excelsior
Enrollment
scholarship.
spiked.
It's
Enrollment
not
spiked.
the Excelsior scholarship. It's because they saw this.
Yes.
Exactly.
You
So,
All right, awesome. So give us some advice for new actors.
New
And also piece of advice that you were given that really helped you,
Okay.
if any.
I think advice for new actors or people who are just starting out, or even if you woke up yesterday and was just like, I want to be an actor. I think the first thing you have to do is, one, when I say be realistic, I don't mean like decide whether you're talented or not, because I do agree. I think that everyone can act. The only thing is I think some people need more nurturing than others.
Yes.
Just like, you know, in Ratatouille, it's like, everyone can cook. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure everyone can cook. You know what I mean? I think everyone can sing. I think some people have a natural talent. I think some people, you know what I mean? Like, I always like to be in a lesson. I never like to think that, you know, oh, I don't need to take lessons.
Right.
So, you know, it's your instrument. You always got to be working on your voice. And then I think maybe some people need to know how to work the voice. You know what I mean? So even seeing these American Idol and all that stuff, sometimes I'm just like, if they get a good like vocal coach, like, you know, and some time, you know what I mean, then you can be the person you want to be or the artist you want to be. But sometimes it takes a little more finessing for some than others.
Absolutely.
But I think if you woke up yesterday and was like, I want to be an actor, I think the first thing you need to do is see where you are in your life and then decide about like classes or about, I don't want to say the educational part of it, but the going in for working on the craft. And then also deciding that, are you going to have the time and commitment to this? Because it is a big commitment. Anything you do towards acting is a big commitment. It's an investment, you know, whether it's clothes for auditions, it's your headshots, it's acting classes, it's improv classes, it's vocal lessons, because you can't just kind of do one thing. You know, if you're a performer, you got to know how to dance a little bit. You got to know how to carry a note a little bit, you know what I mean? So I would say the first thing is be realistic with yourself. Remember to stay humble. Also remember to stay humble, because you can get down on yourself really quickly, and I do it too. I went to an audition the other day. My first song was good. I was like, I'm in there. And then they're like, let's see. And then they threw a wrench in there. And I was just like, and I left not feeling great about it. I don't know the outcome. I could get a call tomorrow. I can get an email next week, or you know what I mean? But you always got to think that was one thing. Tomorrow's another day.
Right.
Tomorrow's another day.
Fantastic. Well, Sam, listen, I want to hit you with the hardest question of the night, probably.
Okay.
Right, the hardest question.
Okay. Do I get to phone a friend?
Wait, she forgot to give us her advice that she was given.
Oh,
yes,
I
I'm sorry.
apologize. That is true.
I had a dual question.
Well, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, the advice.
You know, I was like, maybe
was a
I should let
two-parter.
that go. But I was like, no, that's
I'll save the hard
important.
question for last.
That was a
But the
two-parter.
two-parter.
God, the advice that I was given.
Could be simple too. I mean,
Yeah, I think one of the best things I ever heard was that it's not always you. There are a lot of things that play a part, whether in that like you've been cast or whatever. It could be like, let's say it's for like, it could be actually for anything. Let's say they're casting like a family or whatever. It's not necessarily that it's not always the case that you weren't good so you didn't get the role of the daughter. Sometimes they're very passionate about the mom who was in the room and you don't look like the mom, or maybe this other girl looks closer to the mom than you. Like there are a whole bunch of just moving parts.
It's not personal.
That it's not personal, and it's not always you.
I think that's really important. Though.
Yeah, and I think that as actors, the first thing we always think, it was me.
Yep.
It was me. If I had just done this in the room, if I had just done that, you just never know what it is. And I'm coming to find out sometimes they're just like, the casting loved you, but the producer didn't like you, or just something. Sometimes it's something that you cannot help, or that you didn't have blonde hair. and mom has blonde hair, or just for any other reason. And one thing that has helped me actually go into the room and be a little more relaxed is that casting directors, they want you to book the job. Because if you walk in and you book it, they can go home.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I've spoken to
That's
casting,
true.
you know, I've
That's
spoken to
true.
casting directors, and they've got long days.
imagine.
You know, being, especially, you know, I mean, I know there are cities all over the world, but let's take New York, which we're here. You know, they've got that morning commute on the 7, and the 7 is late again. You know what I mean? Sorry, New York City, but we got to rework these subways. We have to rework on these subways before you start raising my fees. You know what I mean? You know, they got to get to work. You know what I mean? And then they get there, and then it's hot outside. And then they've got to see 70 people for the same role reading the same lines.
I'd
you
be
know what I mean?
annoyed too.
You know, musical casting directors, how many times can they listen to Defying Gravity? You know
It's
what I
like,
mean?
please be the one.
Yes,
please be the one,
please
like
be
right
the
now.
one, because
All right.
All right, fine, you got the role. I
you
just
know
want to
what
go
I mean?
home.
If you are
yeah.
the one, then their job is over, and then they've done their job, and then now it's just kind of from there. It's the director needs to see it, and you know that gets into moving parts. But you know, they want you to be the one. And going into this business, I was just like, I heard casting directors were mean, and like, you know what I mean. And it's just like, and I'm sure I've heard stories that it kind of still happens, you know. And I'm not gonna say, oh, that's just out in LA, but every room that I've walked into in New York City, I have not met a casting director who I was just like, oh my God, I never want to see them
out a little bit,
They have all been the nicest.
Close the door behind you.
It's like,
Don't ever come back. You'll never make it in this town. You know what I mean? Like, I've never met anyone like that.
super dramatic.
You know, they have all been the nicest people I have ever met, and they just want you to book the job.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of
reassuring.
brought me down.
You don't hear that much.
Yeah.
You
get
have
this-
a vision of who these people are, you know,
And
like,
you got to kind of paint it for them, because you know, the director tells them kind of like what they want, and you know what I mean. But you've got to paint that for them, that they're like, yes, that is Cheryl. You know what I mean? But they've been some of the nicest people I've ever met, and you know, knowing that, and even when I don't get something, I'm just like, but that was a great 5 minutes in the room.
and also it's an experience, right? And every experience you have, every feather in your cap really adds to your repertoire, adds to your resume. So it's like, you know, it's really, it's a learning experience. You can learn from it too. Like, what did I do right? What did I need to improve on?
I should never wear that shirt again. Like, and no, I'm not trying to be funny, but like, I shouldn't wear that shirt. Like, it like kind of showed too much and made me kind of look uncomfortable, even though I wasn't.
Right.
Or maybe it exposes you just a little bit, and then you start thinking about it, and then all of a sudden your body language is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I just lost one of my thoughts. I did actually think of one thing that, one of the other
You're about to
good
dodge
pieces
my
of
question
advice.
again, aren't you?
No! Another good
what's
piece of
happening.
advice was that for those 5 minutes, the role is yours. The role is yours.
Oh, I love it.
So for 5 minutes, the role is yours.
I love that.
It's already yours. So just do your thing.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I
good.
mean?
I love that.
It's yours.
It's technically yours in the moment anyway, so make it
You have
what
to
it
own it.
is.
You
Yeah,
have to
like
own that.
make it
Yeah,
your
just own it.
own.
Yep.
You know? And even if you never get called, you had 5 minutes to perform that role. So
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I just find those to be intimidating. Like, is it a room like just of people sitting at long tables and just, all right, Sam, okay, just read
when you go for an audition,
read what you brought in. I guess
it's funny because then, like, you know, you first of all, you run around New York City. It's hot outside. You're sweating. Your makeup is dripping down your face, and then you get up to the 17th floor, and then you're you're looking for where you're going, and then arrows are pointing and all this stuff, and then you walk into not the waiting room or just wherever, and then there are 7 other people sitting there that look exactly like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like resemble you, and you're just like.
That must be even worse than going in front of the casting directors, I feel like knowing like, oh my God, what is different about me?
It is.
Like,
I was auditioning for
intimidating.
Orange is the New Black, and I went upstairs and I walk around the corner and I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know what I mean? And I was like, this is okay. And then what you do is you just kind of, at least I started doing, because what I would do is I would kind of like sit there and then like look at her. What is she wearing? Look at her shoes. Like, you know what I mean? And I wasn't focused on myself.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just, I sign in. I'm just going to be right around the corner. Always let the person who's running the audition where you're going, you know, kind of being within an earshot so that you can hear your name. You'll always kind of really know, like, if there's 3 people ahead of you or what it is, and just really focus and, you know, make sure, just whether it's going over your lines, you know, fixing your hair, just doing what you have to do, because then I was just so focused on everybody else, I wasn't able to focus on myself.
And you know, it's funny because I sing in the choir at church, and I'm not naturally, you know, gifted in that sense, but I always said, I had a conversation with someone.
Everyone can sing.
Everyone can sing.
I know. I need
Everyone can sing.
Remember that.
No. But someone said to me once, she said, you know what? You could mess up a word, or you could not even be singing, but as long as you're worshiping, you're going to speak to somebody. And I just thought, like, if you're standing there and you may not have the same shoes on as the girl, and she may be look the part or dress the part, but it's how you are doing the role, and you might be what they're looking for, and you might just be dressed as you are now. Like, I mean, you don't look like you belong in prison, you know what I mean? Like, you're not dressed in orange, you know, like, but you might just really nail the part, and they may give it to you based on focusing on the task that you were given. So I think that that's really important too. I deserve some bragging rights here because Sam actually got a walking part on Orange is the New Black, and I paused it several times because I was like, Kayode, I know that girl. It's her.
That was wait a second.
Yeah.
Is this
I was like, holy
because
crap, that's Sam. Well, she told us, but I was like,
we just
okay.
didn't know what episode. Like, it was
yeah,
just
she
a
didn't tell
random,
us anything, and I was like,
we didn't know. It's like, look at that.
It was
that
awesome.
was a fun day.
That was awesome.
That was a fun day, and it's funny because
and you said Taylor Schilling walked past you in the hallway. Or whatever.
and I was like, is she talking to herself? And I just realized she was just kind of going over her lines in her head. And the director for that episode was actually he was like one of the like 80s actors. In 16, you remember, not 16 Candles, in Pretty in Pink?
Pretty in Pink.
Yeah, I remember the movie.
The guy that she goes out with, the guys that she...
Oh, you didn't see it? Oh.
He's the like...
No, I saw it. You didn't see it.
Rich preppy guy. But he was like humble though. His name was Blaine.
I have to see a picture.
You gotta
of him. It's been a while.
But you know how like Molly, and she's kind of like from a different side of the tracks and all this stuff. And they end up kind of going on a date and secretly date. It was that guy. I forget the actor's name, but it was him. And I was like, why do I remember that face? And I was like, you're Pretty in Pink.
Oh, what did he say?
I didn't say it. No.
Nope, didn't even talk to him. Nope.
Had to hit my mark.
Yeah.
Had to hit my mark. Yeah. So that was a fun day. That was fun.
Everybody was cool, like nice.
Yeah, everyone was cool. It was hot though. But we were doing the it was, I believe it was episode 1. I forget which season.
It was like season 3 or 4 when they all run away, right?
Yeah, when they all run away and they bring them to go jump in the lake.
Yep.
Yeah, and then when they, how dare you?
Yeah,
did you catch up on the? Are you caught up? Did you watch?
I haven't seen anything yet.
Sam, you will cry. This is one of the best seasons they've ever done.
Man.
Like, it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was amazing. Yeah,
they
ended it well.
Good.
I just haven't gotten into it.
I just don't know. You will.
The worst.
No, I'm not going to watch it.
No,
Are you?
But no, I'm not going to.
He said that about Breaking Bad. Still hasn't seen Breaking Bad.
Not going to watch it.
You haven't seen Breaking Bad?
Not interested. Not interested right now. I'm focused on 2 shows.
Disappointing.
Which 2 shows?
Handmaid's Tale, which we finished.
Okay.
I
need to start.
I'm on season 4 of Game of Thrones.
What's taking you so long?
So those 2 shows I'm
Handmaids, I know.
It's beautiful. You'll just appreciate the cinematography alone.
Or I'm there. I feel like I always gotta like save some shows until I can't take it anymore.
I get what you mean with that though. Like you sit, you let it settle.
Yeah.
You're like.
Well, that's
okay, I'm gonna watch it now.
That's what Hulu does with Orange is the New Black. I mean, they kind of throw it out like it's a weekly show. They don't throw all the seasons out. Handmaid's Tale.
Orange is the New Black is a Netflix.
I'm sorry, Handmaid's Tale. We just lost sponsors. Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah,
we have no ads on the show anymore. Damn it!
No crafty.
No, but the Handmaid's Tale, they throw it out like a weekly series.
Okay.
So it kind of gives you a little time to kind of digest the show.
And that's the way people used to watch TV.
Yeah.
We don't watch TV like that anymore.
Man. It's instant access. Like, I need it all right now. Which leads me into my hardest question, like I was trying to get to. So Sam, hard question. It's hard for artists and filmmakers and people who are just into the arts to answer this question.
Okay.
What is your favorite film?
Excuse me, Mr. Howard. If I'm going by the script, it says here specifically that is my question.
I just skipped it. I skipped you, and now I'm gonna say it.
Fine.
I'm sorry.
I'm just a co-producer.
Totally
fine.
I just bounced you out.
I'm sorry. It's all good. Where's my big button box? Like,
Next
I need
episode,
to
marital issues. Please join us.
What's your favorite movie of all time and why?
I hope it matches up to what the answer you gave us. I'm just saying.
No, right.
It does match up.
We have a picture, and we need to make sure that it's.
I just always got to go with The Labyrinth with David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, nice.
And what?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
So good. First of all, it's like Jim Henson, like, you know, just imagine. I was a big Jim Henson fan. I love the Muppet Babies.
So talented. Super talented.
Good.
Awesome.
You know, like I'm an 80s kid, like love the Muppet Babies. I think the reason why I love it, and I think the reason why I continue to still love it is because where we kind of are with technology and the way like animation has changed and cartoons have changed. Like, I mean, I don't watch cartoons. Sometimes I don't watch, you know what I mean? But it's like, but they've changed.
Yeah.
Even cartoons from like even the 80s, you see that the drawing and the animation is different. You know, movies are different. And I think it kind of stops giving kids and people the ability to be imaginative,
Right.
and just use their imagination and be silly and you know, one thing when, you know, going back to WCC and we were taking acting classes together, I remember people kind of dubbing me as like the Samuel L. Jackson of class. Like, you know, I was so serious. I was always so serious.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
And one thing I've always tried to be was, and I'm okay
Jackson,
with
though.
that.
Sam
I'm
Jackson.
okay with being Samuel Jackson. You know what I mean? He's got a great career. He's a great actor.
That's hilarious.
I've always wanted. I always had a problem with being vulnerable in front of people, so I've worked on that over the course of just, you know, taking classes, trying to let people in and be vulnerable and see me in kind of a place where, you know, we're not always okay with people seeing us that way. That and then just being silly. Like, I'm a silly person, but like in the future I hope to take like a clowning class, you know what I mean? Just like to let go. And I think that's what the movie really, really provides. You know, if you've seen, like, you haven't seen it, but once you see,
when I watched the trailer,
so good.
Yeah, I know the movie.
So good.
Never seen it. I was like, oh, I got to.
You know, I mean, you got it. David Bowie's wearing tights.
Listen, David Bowie kind of always wears
You know what I
tights.
mean? That is true. That's not anything new.
That's
not anything new.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm gonna go check it out now.
Yeah. Check it out. I think it literally runs like an hour and a half, and it's really great.
And Jennifer Connelly,
I
right?
love it.
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah,
too.
terrible green screen work, and it's just like
Amazing.
Yeah, she's a good actress, and she
she's
really
great.
like
Yeah.
you know, I mean, she won. Didn't she win for Beautiful Mind?
Jennifer Connelly
She did win for that, didn't
did not
she?
win an Oscar.
She was nominated though.
She was nominated. She
Yeah.
has not won an Oscar.
No.
No.
Interesting.
No.
So one of my favorite movies. It's
I'm gonna have to
awesome.
look. I'm gonna have
But
to watch that.
I've got a lot of good favorites. Die Hard.
Oh yeah. Classic.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Comes in
Bring
and
it all
you
full
know,
circle
Snakes
now.
on the plane.
all full circle. You know what I mean?
Snakes on the Plane.
That was terrible.
That was an
movie
amazing
was
film. Cult classic.
terrible.
I've never. The only
Cult
movie
classic.
I've only been
Oh my
able to
God.
see with snakes in it. I don't like snakes.
Anaconda?
I'm terrified.
Anaconda.
never
Classic
seen that.
J-Lo.
Classic
I didn't see
jail.
that.
Right before the booty got too big.
Oh Lord
it was,
Jesus.
It was like
oh
perfect.
my Lord.
It was like
oh my
perfect.
God. I mean, I
Perfect.
get it.
It's perfect. Like it was just right before it
know,
expanded.
It expanded.
Her
Maybe it
and,
was Anaconda.
her and
maybe it
Ice
was-
Cube, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So good, so good. I don't know if I would have been able to personally film that film. I mean, I would have looked at my contract, and I'm like, I'll have to suck it up.
You gotta, yeah. You
Like,
gotta,
I mean, it was all animatronic. I mean, was it right or what was it? It was
I think there is one
have no
scene where
idea.
they
I
use
would've-
real snakes.
Oh
I would've thought-
hell no.
One or two
most
scenes.
of it was
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
The scene where
that?
they blow
2000?
up the dam.
I
They're
didn't see
like,
it.
97, I think.
Yeah, I know. I'm
So
failing
they,
you.
they blow up
a
a dam because it's blocking their way to where they want to go.
Yeah.
And they blow up the dam, and all of a sudden there's snakes
That's
everywhere.
right. That's
But there's
right.
snakes of all different lengths and sizes, and I think those were real. I think
That's
those were real
right.
snakes.
I remember
and
that.
then when they're running away from the anaconda, and John Voight's character has unfortunately met his kind of demise.
Kind of?
There's snakes all over the place.
Oh, God.
So they've
Oh, my
got
God.
one that's, I think, fake, and then they've added some real ones there.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had some snake handlers
Oh, yeah,
like, on
absolutely.
set
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Anacondas are
But-
real, right? Like they
Oh,
do
yeah, they're
exist.
real. Yeah, they do exist.
Yeah.
I don't think they move at the speed.
Yeah, right.
At
Those
because they're
Those
like,
anacondas were on steroids.
yeah, those are some, yeah.
They were not on normal
Like they would have got a
drugs.
ticket on 287. Like that, like you know what I mean. But legit, if I got offered the role and was doing this movie, I would go see a therapist.
Why are you
would-
afraid of snakes?
I would probably try to work out my issues
Yeah.
and try to get over this fear before production even starts.
Listen,
Yeah.
man, I get it. I get it.
See, snakes don't bother me. I don't know what it is. I mean, anacondas, I'm sure, you know. Yeah. They don't, no. Spiders, maybe, a little bit. Well, listen, guys, this is our first episode.
Artist Roundtable.
Adapted, uncut Artist Roundtable. Thank you, Samantha Jane Williams. Of
course.
AKA
such a great
Sammy,
time.
AKA SJ, AKA what other names you got for me. But it was awesome. Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jane Jackson.
Oh, yes. Jesus. But it was a great show. We really enjoyed having you here.
Thank you
I knew
so
you were going
much,
to kill
you
it.
guys.
Do you have anything else you want to say to aspiring actors?
Just keep pushing. It is never too late to start. It is never too late to start. If you were bit by the bug, just go out and do it. You know what I mean? But it's you who decides how much you want to put into it and what kind of scale. You know, you can find success in all different areas. There are people who are happy doing local theater. There are people who are happy doing regional theater or just tours. There are people who make a living, you know, doing Broadway, doing Broadway. So it all depends on kind of what makes you happy and what makes you feel fulfilled. So
my question, actually, I meant to ask you really quick before we end. What do you like better, theater or film?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Because they're so different.
Oh, they are so
Movies,
different.
TV.
Oh,
I love theater.
I wouldn't want to say that like if I had to pick one, but I do enjoy the stage. I love being on stage because even if it's non-musical theater, you just feel that energy like seeping off of people. Like you feel it, the audience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're right there with you. They're invested. They're committed in this story for 2 hours.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? And your only job is to just live truthfully within those circumstances.
Yeah.
And you have it and it's in you. And for 2 hours, you are Lady Jane of just whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you invite them. You're saying, come with me on this journey, on this ride.
It's personal.
It is a very personal thing.
I love watching theater more than film. I love film, but I think theater is just, I get chills when I go to plays.
I cry at every play that I see.
Really?
I do. But I understand. I've shed a few. Like next to normal, I was a basket case.
I mean, I don't bawl. I don't bawl.
Just that
you know what I mean?
Tear.
But I'm not gonna lie. I've flipped through many. Like it happens almost like same time. I get to my seat, I take off my or just whatever. I'm flipping through the playbill, and then I start to get a little emotional before, curtains go up or, you know what I mean? I think because, again, it's such an intimate thing. Yes. It's a relationship. As an actor, I I want to be up there and, to watch 10 people, 15 people, 3 people, 2 people, 1 person living their dream or doing what they do and you're sharing so much of yourself. It's a very personal thing. Yes. You are sharing yourself. Yes. And not to say for the most part, all musical theater, it's happy and it's, there's 10 songs and there's, then there's a finale, you know what I mean? But not all shows are like that, right. Well, I cried at Waitress.
Oh my God,
I don't know why.
Too.
I mean, she has a job. It's not like she didn't have a job.
Well, she was abused.
She was.
I didn't see the play. I saw I fell in love with the movie, and I wanted to see the play in the worst way. But for Color Girls, you were amazing, and it was a very heavy play.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic.
Thank you.
Just the cast in general, and everything was great. But it was very, very emotional. It was very personal. You talked about a lot of heavy topics.
Yeah.
So definitely,
you have to be very open and loose with emotions for something that heavy.
Yeah, and that was an opportunity for me to work on me being vulnerable and being in that space in front of people. Yeah,
for sure. Well, listen, guys, check us out soon for another edition of Scriptly Adapted Uncut Artist Roundtable.
Artist Roundtable series, guys. Until next time, peace out.
We're out. Bye, guys.
Nothing is what it seems.
Everything I've done for you. I move the stars for no one. Run so long, run so far.
The world of Labyrinth.